They say that when a king dies, the kingdom trembles. But what happens when two gods leave the sky at the exact same time? For 20 years, we didn't just watch football, we lived in a curated reality, a world where every Saturday and Sunday had a predetermined miracle. If you were in a bad mood, you turned on the television to see a man from Madeira defy gravity, or a boy from Rosario walk through 6 defenders as if they were made of smoke. We were spoiled. We were witnesses to a historical anomaly that we treated as routine. But today, the air feels thinner. The stadiums in Europe, the Bernabeu, the Camp Nou, the grand stages of the Champions League feel like haunted houses. The ghosts of 2 decades are still there, echoing in the tunnels, but the physical bodies are gone. One is chasing shadows in the heat of Riyadh. The other is walking among the neon lights of Miami. This isn't just a transition. This is the death of the world we knew. This is the final chapter. To understand why their exit hurt so much, we have to remember how they built the world they eventually left behind. Think back to 2008. The world was a different place. But on a rainy night in Moscow, a young Cristiano Ronaldo rose into the air and stayed there. It was the moment we realized that the human body could be upgraded. He was the machine. A man who decided that talent wasn't enough. He wanted to be a monument. Every goal was a statement of defiance. Every was a reminder that he had conquered the world through sheer, agonizing willpower. Then, there was the magician. Lionel Messi didn't look like an athlete. He looked like a kid who had wandered onto the pitch by mistake, only to realize he could control the ball with his mind. While Ronaldo was the roar of an engine, Messi was the silence of a library. He didn't run, he glided, he didn't shoot. He placed the ball where the goalkeeper's hopes went to die. For 15 years, they pushed each other into the stratosphere. If Ronaldo scored a hat-trick on Tuesday, Messi scored 4 on Wednesday. They were the sun and the moon, and we were just the planet caught in their gravity. But even the sun eventually sets. The end didn't come with a whistle. It came with a whisper. Look at the divergence of their final acts. Cristiano Ronaldo, the man who wanted to be the greatest European of all time, found himself in a desert. To his critics, it was a surrender. But if you look closer, it was his final war. He is 40 years old, yet he reacts to a missed chance in the Saudi Pro League with the same fury he had in the 2008 final. He is fighting a war against time itself. He refuses to accept that his body is mortal. He is chasing the number 1,000, not for the record, but because if he stops running, the silence will finally catch up to him. Then, across the ocean, we see the other side of the coin. In Miami, Lionel Messi has finally stopped running. He has put down the weight of a nation. After the 2022 World Cup, something changed in his eyes. The hunger was replaced by peace. He is playing in a league that feels like a summer vacation, surrounded by friends, smiling under the Florida sun. But for us, the fans, both versions feel like a simulation. We see the highlights on TikTok, we see the goals on Instagram, but the soul of the competition, the high-stakes, win-or-die atmosphere of the Champions League, is missing. We are watching our heroes through a filtered lens, and the distance is starting to ache. But it's not just about the men, it's about the game they left behind. Football is changing, it's becoming efficient, it's becoming robotic. We are entering the era of the system. Managers like Pep Guardiola and Mikel Arteta have turned the pitch into a laboratory. Players are now functional units. They are told where to stand, when to pass, and how to press. There is no room for the tactical anomaly anymore. Lionel Messi was an anomaly. He walked for 80 minutes and won the game in 10 seconds. Cristiano Ronaldo was an anomaly. He demanded that the entire team serve his hunger. In today's game, a player like that would be benched for not working for the team. Look at the new generation. Look at Kylian Mbappe. You often call him the dictator in the comments, but look at his struggle at Real Madrid CF. He is trying to be a Galactico in a world that forces him to be a system player. He is finding out that the throne Ronaldo left behind isn't just empty, it's being dismantled. The era of the individual hero is being replaced by the era of the collective machine. We are gaining tactical perfection, but we are losing the magic of the unexpected. Because we are grieving, we are looking for a replacement, and that is where the danger begins. Enter Lamine Yamal, 18 years old, A kid who should be worried about exams and heartbreaks is instead carrying the weight of the new Messi tag. We see him drop his shoulder, we see that left foot curler, and our brains immediately go back to 2005. We are so desperate to fill the void that we are projecting an entire legacy onto a teenager. Is it fair? Every time Yamal breathes, he is compared to 20 years of perfection. Every time Kylian Mbappé sprints, he is measured against the shadow of Cristiano Ronaldo. We aren't letting them be themselves, we are forcing them to become ghosts. And then there is Erling Haaland, the ultimate product of the new era. He has the numbers, he might even break the records, but does he have the story? Does he make your heart race when he touches the ball at the halfway line? Or is he just a very efficient goal-scoring computer? The tragedy of the post-GOAT era is that we have plenty of talent, but very little mythology. So, what does their exit really mean for us? It means that the standard of excellence has changed. For 2 decades, greatness was defined by Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. If you didn't score 50 goals a season, you weren't elite. They warped our perception of what is possible. Now, we have to learn how to watch football again. We have to learn how to appreciate a 20-goal season. We have to learn how to appreciate a winger who doesn't win the Ballon d'Or every year. The exit of the GOATs is a great leveling. The game is becoming more competitive because the gods are no longer there to dictate the outcome. But as the lights fade on their careers, we have to ask ourselves, were we watching football or were we watching them? The final chapter isn't a tragedy, it's a testament. Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi didn't just play football, they gave us a shared language. Whether you were in a village in Africa or a skyscraper in New York City, you knew what those names meant. They were the last of the universal icons.